we thought it's just so important for us to meet and dialogue with public officials about the issues that are really important to us. We did invite all the candidates, but we got 3 very important candidates here, so we are thrilled to have this opportunity to talk with them in detail about clean energy. And we're also very, very delighted to have Mike Wildhofer, who is the director of the Schuylkill Environmental Center.
Businessman Tom Wolf, Congresswoman Allison Schwartz, Katie McKee, specifically for sustainable energy, jobs, and the environment. I've got an agenda. I want to cool the planet.
First of all, we all are aware that by 2020 we must achieve a sustainable energy portion of utilities, and 18% is the number, and I know it's broken down into 2 groups, 10 and 8. But the bottom line is there are people out there who would like to stop this and not have us meet our mandate of 18% energy that's renewable by 2020. I think that's wrong, and I think anything that comes up that way in the way of legislation, we should fight. And further, as a conservationist with the Swicar Watershed Association, planting riparian buffers has been one thing I've been involved in creating wetlands. Those are things that I would like to continue to support, as well as farmland preservation, because if we have too much, as some of the programs were, too much asphalt and cement is just going to make more stormwater runoff and create more problems. And when it comes to solar energy, I do have 40 solar panels on my garage capable of putting out 12 kilowatts, I think it is. My husband's the science major, I'm not. But the bottom line is that when I got my solar panels, the one thing that I did was insist on solar panels made in the United States of America. And I think that that is something that we have to encourage, because the solar programs of the past, they had garage warehouses full of solar panels made overseas. And while that's fine, it supports their economy, I think it would support our economy more if those solar panels were made in the United States, and it would provide jobs as well.
In the pursuit of sustainability, a couple of years ago, John mentioned the Sunshine Program. We enacted a policy that ended up being unsustainable. So my question is, how do we take the lessons learned and the current bugs in solar to avoid doing that again in the future?
In Pennsylvania, one of the things I noticed, even though some of the incentives have gone away, I see people installing solar farms because they find it's the right thing to do, at least around Lebanon County. And as I've been driving, I've been to all 67 counties, by the way, as I've been driving the state, I have seen solar farms, and they're as big as football fields. One issue that we have, I saw, again, the pavers with the stone between so the water can get back into the ground and recharge. And one of the issues we're dealing with in Lebanon County is, should we have stormwater management for these solar panels? When the water gets between them, it can go back into the ground, it's not paved underneath. It's a discussion we're having. But the other thing I wanted to mention was the SRECs. I find that that is a real problem for people to navigate, and I think that that should be made simpler. First of all, in Washington, D.C., when I had researched this just a couple of months ago, they were paying $480 for an SREC. And then in Pennsylvania, they were only paying $13. I understand that might be up to $25 right now. Well, when I first put my solar panels in, I got a 3-year contract. I just signed up for a 5-year contract and was able to utilize a firm who was licensed to broker in Washington, D.C. Now, they get a third of the money, obviously, for doing the brokering. But I think we have to help people, because we're encouraging them to put in the solar panels, and that way it will save on having to use the fossil burning fuels, and that's all fine and good. But if they can't navigate the system and they get frustrated, that's a deterrent. So I think we have to simplify that and get some help with some online comparisons so they know what they're doing. I found it to be very confusing among people who I consider quite brilliant, and they were having trouble calling me, and I could share the little bit that I knew.